Here we are at Brescia University with these domesticated rose bushes that have been planted by our Brescia gardening staff. These bushes have what you call rose rosette disease. It's also known as witch's broom. Some of the symptoms that you can tell it has this disease is right in here. Is the main symptom you'll notice is how clumped together. It almost looks like a witch's broom, hence the name. Some other symptoms it has is these red stems and leaves that you wouldn't normally see on a rose bush. Also, if you look really closely, you can see the excessive amount of thorns that aren't usually on there, and they're a little softer. Another thing is the flowers. They're pink, red, and purple, and they change within the seasons where you wouldn't normally see a bush like that. They lose resistance to the cold, as you can see in this flower right here. Doesn't look very good, and it's pretty cold if I do say so myself. So down here, another symptom is that not all of the buds have bloomed yet. You can see that many of them are still there. Also, another symptom is the purplish again. You see that over here, and compared to the greenish yellow that you would normally see in a rose bush. This is caused by an amyrovirus spread by woolly mites. The woolly mites are practically invisible to the naked eye. They were brought over here from Japan in 1866, but were only noticed in American rose bushes since 1941. Even though the disease has been around for many years, only recently did we find out it was caused by a virus. These rose bushes, this is mainly a problem on wild rose bushes, but the wind carries these mites and they land on bushes like these here at Brescia.
We have identified 3 different sets of solutions that can be used to combat this disease. First is prevention, control, and breeding. So with prevention, as my friend Dylan said, this disease is spread by woolly mites, or by woolly mites that are carried by the wind from bushes that have the disease to bushes that don't. So an obvious solution would be to plant in an area that doesn't have any wild rose bushes that carry the disease. And as you can see here at Brescia, that's not really a problem. So what that tells me is that these bushes were either purposely given the disease for testing purposes, or they were bought with the disease. Another option with prevention is to use pesticides such as horticulture oils, insecticide soaps, or other miticides. So with control, as you can see with this disease, it always starts at the top of a shoot like this and works its way down. And it goes very slowly. So if you can get to the plant and identify the disease before it has spread to the entire plant, cutting off that shoot should deal with the disease. The problem with this is that the symptoms of this disease are so close to the symptoms of other problems like nutritional deficiencies or herbicide damage that it's sometimes hard to identify the problem. So if the disease has spread to the entire plant, your best option is to dig up the entire plant, including the roots, which is essential, because if a new plant is allowed to grow up from the roots, then that plant will have the virus that causes the disease. So once you dig up the plant, you want to either place that in a plastic bag if your area does not allow you to burn material, or you can take it to a separate location and burn it. So option number 3 is a long-term biological solution, which is breeding the rose bushes with other rose bushes that would combat the disease. There's a rose bush called the McCartney rose bush that is susceptible to the virus, but it is very resistant to the mites that feed on the rose bush and spread the virus. There's also a rose bush called the climbing rose bush, which is susceptible to the mites but is very resistant to the disease. So if you bred those 2 rose bushes together, then you would have a rose bush that theoretically could be resistant to the virus.
And I'm Isaac Calloway.
I'm Dylan Porter.
Thanks for watching our video.